What's up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be providing a family ability guide, and I'm also going to be uploading many other guides within this next week because, as you guys may know already, April 1st, which is this Tuesday coming up, this game is going to be on PS Plus, which means that there's going to be a lot of new players coming to this game, and I'm going to be releasing a lot of guides so that I can help the new players and also help you guys who have, been playing this game for a while now, because there's a lot of things that people don't know about this game because it's a huge learning curve. So today's video is going to be a family ability guide. I'm also going to be uploading a victim ability guide, objective ability guide, where I'm going to be talking about, how to play as victim and family. And I'm also going to be talking about, the skill trees. I'm going to be providing a skill tree guide and a perk guide in the same video as well. But for this video, I'm going to focus on the family ability guide. So when it comes to the family ability guide, I'm going to be going over all the ability trees for each family, and I'm also going to be going into a private match with one of my friends to show you guys what each ability does for each family member. But other than that, let's jump right into the video. So starting off with Leatherface, the face of the franchise, this is his ability tree. So use the chainsaw to cause horrific injuries and destroy any doors or obstacles that might stand in your way. And keep in mind, guys, when you play this game for the first time, you don't unlock level 2 and level 3. You start off with level 1 because obviously, the more you play Leatherface, the more you're going to level him up and get XP, and the more XP you get and the more you level him up, you get level 2 and level 3 for his ability tree. So starting off with level 1, reduce chainsaw overheat. Reduces the chances of overheat from excessive revving by 10%. Stalling resistance. The chainsaw can be used 10% more often before stalling. And then overheat reduction. Reduces the overheat cooldown before you can restart the chainsaw by 15%. And keep in mind, guys, when it comes to, level 2 and level 3, it just stacks. So for an example, when it comes to the left side, reduce chainsaw overheat. It's 10% for level 1, 20% for level 2, and then 30% for level 3. And then for the stalling resistance, it's 10% for level 1, 20% for level 2, and then for level 3, it starts the chainsaw instantly. And then for the right side, overheat reduction is 15%, level 2 is 25%, and then level 3 is 35%. And keep in mind, guys, I'm going to be showing you the way you should go. Not the way you should go, but the way I would go for, the ability trees. So when it comes to Leatherface, once you get him level 3, I would highly recommend going right, middle, middle. So once you hit level 3, go right, middle, middle. Level 1, overheat reduction. Level 2, stalling resistance. And then level 3, instant activation. But other than that, let's jump right into the gameplay and I'll show you guys how his ability works. Alright, so starting off with Leatherface, the face of the franchise. To start his chainsaw, you have to click RB or R1, I think it is, on the PlayStation. Not too sure what it is on the PC because I'm not familiar with PC. But to start your chainsaw, you click the right bumper, okay? Right bumper. I have the level 3 ability, so all I have to do is click X once. But if you're level 1 Bubba, you have to click X 3 times. So 3 revs, or 3 pulls to start his chainsaw. You know what I mean? So just keep that in mind. If you're level 1, you have to click the X button 3 times to start his chainsaw. But now let's talk about the rev. If you hold LT or L2, I think it is on PlayStation, if you hold it, you guys can see it. You get an overhead. But look at the bottom right. All I'm doing is tapping it. You have to tap it when you're at the tip of his ability when it comes to his chainsaw. You have to tap it because guess what, guys? If you hold it, this is what happens when you hold it. If you hold LT, if you hold the left trigger, look what happens. You overheat, which is not good because once you overheat, it gives the victims enough time to open up a door. So I'll show you guys again. Hold LT until you get to the tip of his chainsaw here, and just tap it. As you guys can see, I'm just tapping it. When you tap it, you gain more momentum, you gain more control. But if you hold it, I'm not going to hold it again, but if you hold it, you overheat. Now let's talk about what his chainsaw does, okay? With his chainsaw, you can destroy doors, which is very beneficial because when you destroy doors, that means that the victims can't, door slam you. What you can also do is, let's say you're chasing, come downstairs, by the way, meet me at the rear basement. I'll show you after with the thrust, but what you can also do is you can destroy a barricade. Okay, you can destroy a barricade, which is really good because usually when a victim goes over a barricade, they're in a safe spot, right? And then what you can also do is, so you could destroy barricades, you can destroy the doors. Now you can also destroy crawl spaces, right? If you destroy crawl spaces, it limits the looping for victims, which is very beneficial for the family side. So far you can destroy doors, barricades, and crawl spaces, all right? All right, go through that gap. Right behind you, the big one. What you can also do is if the victim's going through, you can thrust. You can thrust through the gap if you hold Y or triangle, I think it is on PlayStation, and you can actually do damage to the victims. So keep that in mind. We can go upstairs now and show them the overhead and all that. It's like, no, we can do what we did last time. You stay at the window and all that. All right, now I'm going to show you, to end it off, I'm going to show you the attacks that Leatherface can do, okay? So, the first attack Leatherface can do, you have to rev it until you get the overhead. You can overhead a victim, okay? You can overhead a victim like this, okay? Keep in mind though, when you're level 1, you're going to stall out most of the time, okay? It's a pain in the ass, but when you're level 3, you're not going to stall out most of the time. Once you start off with Leatherface and you hit someone with an overhead, you're going to stall out, unfortunately, right? It's unfortunate. You're going to stall out every single time, but that's just what it is. You have to level them. You have to level them up in order to not stall a lot. But once you hit a victim with an overhead, don't swing right away, because if you hit someone with an overhead and swing right away, you're gonna stall out, right? But also another attack you could do with Leatherface, if you're not comfortable with overheading someone, you can always just regular swing at them, right? You can always just do that. You can jump out window now. And to end it off, when it comes to Leatherface, if a victim bleeds out, you can pick them up, okay? If you click X, I think it's square on a PlayStation. If you click X or square when a victim is in caps and when they bleed out, you can bring them to a gallows, okay? So to recap, Leatherface can destroy crawl spaces, doors, barricades, and thrust through gaps. He can also gallows a victim if they're in cap or when they bleed out. And keep in mind, he has 2 attacks. He can overhead someone and he can regular swing someone. And keep in mind, with the overhead, you have to tap it carefully, because if you hold the left trigger, you're going to overheat. But now we're going to move on to Cook. So moving on to Cook, this is his ability tree. So listen for noisy victims, highlighting and pinpointing their location for a short period of time. So let's talk about level 1 real quick. So on the left side, reduce ability drain, reduces ability drain by 30%. Increase detection range, so victim detection range increased by 10%, and then quicker recharge rate, increases ability bar recharge rate by 33%. And then for level 2, it's like the same thing with Leatherface, you know, it just increases the percentage. So for level 2, for reduces ability drain, it's 60%. For increased detection range, it goes from 10% to 20%. And then for a quicker recharge rate, it goes from 33% to 60% for level 2. And then for the level 3 ability, increase focus speed. Focusing on a victim takes half as long. Increase highlight duration. Successively highlighted victims stay marked twice as long. And then finally, all family see noise. Highlighted victims are marked for the entire family. This is the best level 3 ability in my opinion. And the way I go for Cook's ability tree, once you get level 3, I go left, middle, right. So for level 1, I go with reduce ability drain. For level 2, I go with increased detection range. And then for level 3, I go with all family see noise. So let's jump right into the gameplay and I'll show you guys how his ability works. All right, so now moving on to Cook, I want to let you guys know as well that I said the last game with Leatherface, Leatherface is the only family member that can spawn in basement with the victim. So keep that in mind. And every other family member, like Cook, Hitchhiker, you name it, they spawn upstairs. Leatherface is the only one that spawns in the basement. So when it comes to Cook, as you guys can see in the bottom right, he has 3 locks. All right, so you can place 3 locks. And I'll be talking about the perks that can help his locks in another video when it comes to another guide for the skill trees and the perks. But as you guys can see, he has 3 padlocks, which you can put on the doors, which makes it harder for the victims to unlock the doors. You know what I mean? Because instead of having to, you know, only get 1 tool pick, they need to get 2 tool picks to unlock a door. So yeah, for the final padlock, put it on anything you want. You can only put the padlock on a gate or a door. You can't put it on an objective, okay? You can't put his padlock on an objective. Only doors or gates. All right, ready yet? All right, right here. Let's just go outside to show them about his Syrian ability. All right, so to end it off with Cook, I'm gonna show you how his ability works. Okay now. I'm gonna show you how his hearing ability works. Okay. All right. All right, just run around for me real quick. All right, so if the victims are running around, you can highlight them, okay? And as you can see, they're highlighted, and they're highlighted to you and the family members. They're only highlighted to the family members only if you have the level 3 ability. Once you start off with Cook, if you only have level 1 with Cook for his ability, they're only highlighted to you. So just keep that in mind, okay? They're not highlighted to the other family members. Only if you have, the level 3 ability, they're highlighted to the family members. And you can also highlight the generator as well. I mean, it doesn't really do much, but you can highlight the generator as well. All right, start walking now. Okay, so hear me out, guys. If the victims are running... Oh, wait. We can also mark them when they're highlighted, eh? When they're walking. So crouch then. Crouch. Crouch walk. Sorry for my ability to recharge a little bit. So if the victims are walking or running or doing like a little jog, you can spot them. But if they're like crouching all over the place, see, like you see how Virginia's crouching here? You can't mark them. So if you're playing as victim and you want to avoid Cook, crouch, guys, crouch. Because if you walk or run or even jog, you're going to be highlighted, right? And like I said before, the victims are only highlighted with Cook's ability if you have the level 3 ability. If you only have the level 1 ability, they're only highlighted to you. So just keep that in mind. And like I said before, you can highlight the generator as well, but you have to be closer to it, obviously. I can't highlight the generator from all the way down here. So to recap, you have 3 padlocks with Cook, okay? 3 padlocks. You can highlight victims when they're running, jogging, or walking, but you can't highlight them if they're crouching and playing really stealthy. So just keep that in mind, guys. But now we're going to be moving on to Hitchhiker. Moving on to Hitchhiker. Hitchhiker was actually the first family member I leveled up when I first started playing this game, and he's a very fun character in my opinion. So for the ability tree, set traps on the ground, snaring and injuring any victims who step on them. So for his level 1 abilities, faster placement, increases the speed of setting traps by 10%. For his other level 1 ability, increase escape difficulty. Breaking free of traps is 19% more difficult for victims. And then increased damage, increases the amount of damage inflicted on a victim when snared by 13%. And then for the level 2 abilities, it just increases the percentage. So faster placement, it goes from 10% to 20%. For increased escape difficulty, it goes from 19% to 28%. And then for increased damage, it goes from 13% to 33%. And then for the level 3 abilities, all family see noise. When a victim is snared, the activated trap is highlighted to all family members. Bloody traps. If a victim is caught in a trap, you'll receive blood after resetting or collecting the trap. And then finally, bleed damage. Any victim caught in a trap continues to take damage over a short period of time. So for me, I go with right, middle, right. So for level 1, I go with increased damage. For level 2, I go with increased escape difficulty. And then for level 3, I go with bleed damage. So let's jump right into the gameplay and I'll show you guys how his traps work. So moving on to Hitchhiker, I mean, Hitchhiker's abilities is traps, right? And you can literally place his traps anywhere you want. You can place his traps at the door if you want. Doorway over here. You can place them at the stairs. You can place them at the gap. You can also place it at crawl spaces as well. Like you can place a trap right here if you want. You know what I mean? And as you guys can see here, it's pretty fast to place a trap. You know what I mean? It's pretty fast. Like I said, you can place this trap anywhere. You can even place this trap near your grandpa if you want. You know what I mean? You can place it near your grandpa. So if they want to stab Gramps, they have to go through your trap in order to stab Grandpa. And the main thing, a lot of people with Hitchhiker, they place traps at an objective. So let's find the fuse box here and show you guys real quick. See if it spawns here. It spawned right there, the fuse box. You can also place a trap at the fuse box if you want. You know what I mean? So if people want to go for the fuse box, they either need to bring Bomb Squad or get a bone scrap to go through your trap. Or they can also take it like a champ. You know what I mean? And you only have 3 traps, by the way. 3 traps is good enough. I mean, it comes clutch. Hitchhiker is one of the best characters for a reason. One of the most funnest characters for a reason, right? Because of his traps. But now, let's go outside. But now I'm going to show you what happens when a victim steps in a trap with the bone scrap and without a bone scrap. Are you going to do it with a bone scrap or without a bone scrap first? All right. All right, so yeah, just step in it without it and then heal after. All right, go step in it now. Well, this is what happens when the victim steps in a trap, okay? Just get out of it. Try to get out of it right now. You can hit them while they're in a trap, by the way, but if you hit them when they're stuck in your trap, they're free, okay? But as you guys can see there, took her a few seconds to get out. But like I said, if she steps in the trap and you hit her, she's free and she can book it. But then again, if someone steps in your trap and you hit them, they're going to be taking a lot of damage, right? Because they take the damage from your trap itself, plus the melee damage from Hitchhiker, right? And now I'm going to show you what happens when a victim steps in a trap with a bone scrap, okay? All right, so with a bone scrap, you can get out of it with a click of a button. But if you step in a trap without a bone scrap, you have to spam X. But don't spam X until like the top, because if you keep spamming X, you're going to take more damage. You have to tap it carefully if you step in a Hitchhiker trap without a bone scrap. But if you step in a trap with a bone scrap, all you have to do is click one button. And that button is either A or X if you're on PlayStation, okay? But personally, what I do if I play victim, I just take it like a champ sometimes, but if I want to get out of the trap really quick with just one button, bring a bone scrap with you. All right, going into it again. You see how fast I was that time? You see how fast I was with the bone scrap? It's way faster to get out of a trap with a bone scrap, okay? Just keep that in mind if you're playing victim. And that's why I always say, if a victim goes into your trap and you're near them, hit them if they're still in the trap, okay? Because if they have a bone scrap, one click of a button and they're gone, okay? So keep that in mind. But yeah, to recap, Hitchhiker has 3 traps. It's easier to get out of the trap if you have a bone scrap. If you don't have a bone scrap, they're gonna take a while to get out of the trap, especially if they're panicking. Because keep in mind, guys, if a victim steps in a trap and they spam it, they're going to take even more damage. So keep that in mind. But to end it off, like I said, if a victim steps in your trap and you're in front of them, hit them, okay? Hit them because they're going to take a lot more damage. But now we're going to be moving on to Johnny. Moving on to Johnny, a lot of people hate going up against Johnny because of how hard he hits. He's a very hard-hitting character. He can kill you pretty quick, so just keep an eye out for Johnny if you guys get into a lobby with him, because he can hit like a truck. And this is his ability tree. So track the movements of victims while searching for any footprints left behind. So for level 1, decrease tracking cost. Consumption rate for footprint tracking reduced by 7%. Increase clue range. The detection range of clues left by victims is increased by 15%. And then quicker recharge increases ability bar recharge rate by 14%. And then for level 2, so for decreased tracking cost, it goes from 7% to 21%. For increased clue range, it goes from 15% to 30%. And then for quicker recharge, it goes from 14% to 34%. And then for the level 3 abilities, analyze clues faster. So clues left behind, or my bad, clues left by victims can be analyzed 50% faster. Footprint freshness changes the color of footprints based on how recently they were left. And then finally, increase trail range. Increases the range of footprint trails by 100%. So when I play Johnny, I go right, middle, left. So for level 1, I go with quicker recharge. For level 2, I go with increased clue range. And then for level 3, I go with analyze clues faster. So let's jump right into the gameplay with Johnny, and I'll show you guys how his ability works. All right, so moving on to Johnny's ability. A lot of people don't like Johnny's ability, but it does come clutch at times. So with Johnny's ability, you can track the victim's footprints, okay? And look, as you guys can see in the bottom right, his ability lasts a very long time. So you can start running now and then walking. All right, so you can track the victim's footprint if they're running or walking, okay? If they're running or walking, you can track their footprints. And then start walking now. So as you guys can see, Maria was running. Now she's walking, okay? She's walking now, and you can still track the footprints. Now crouch. See? Now when she crouches, you can't track the victim's footprints, right? You can only track the victim's footprints when they're walking or running. When they're crouching, as you guys can see, I don't see any footprints here. When they're crouching, you can't, when they're crouching, it disappears. And keep in mind, guys, keep in mind, when you track a victim's footprint, okay, when you track their footprint, they are notified, okay? When you track a victim's footprint, the victims are notified on the right side of the screen. So when I tracked Maria's footprint, it told her that Johnny found your footprints on the right side of her screen. So just keep that in mind. Not much to his ability, but to recap, you can only track the victim's footprint if they're running or walking. But when they start to crouch, the footprints disappear. And lastly, to recap for Johnny's ability, when you track their footprints, when you first start tracking the footprints, that victim is notified. Not all the victims are not notified. The specific victim is notified. So for an example, like I said, when I tracked Maria's footprint, it notified her on the right side of her screen. So just keep that in mind. But now I'm going to move on to Sissy. Moving on to Sissy, this is her ability tree. So blow clouds of poison in the path of victims to block their paths or lace their useful items. So for the level 1 abilities, we have increases cloud duration. So increases poison cloud duration to 50 seconds. And then we have increased poison duration. Increases the amount of time a victim is affected by poison to 12 seconds. And then lastly, we have create poison faster. Reduce the time to create poison at mortar and pestle tables to 3 seconds. And then for level 2, so for level 2, it increases cloud duration. It goes from 50 seconds to 55 seconds. For increased poison duration, it goes from 12 seconds to 13.5 seconds. And then for create poison faster, it goes from 3 seconds to 2 seconds. And then for the level 3 abilities, we have poison pickup locations. So poison can now be applied to bone scrap piles and toolboxes. For the other level 3 ability, we have Toxic Cloud. The poison seeps into the victim's wounds, causing them to lose health for a short period of time. And then finally, we have Poison Electronics. Poison can now be applied to generators and car batteries, affecting victims who use them. So for me personally, I go with middle, left, middle. So for level 1, I have increased poison duration. For level 2, I have increases cloud duration. And then for level 3, I have Toxic Cloud. So let's jump right into the gameplay with Sissy, and I'll show you guys how her ability works. Alright, so moving on to Sissy's ability. With Sissy's ability, you can do a lot, guys. You can do a lot with her ability, and I'm going to show you right now. So let's get right into it. So, with Sissy's ability, you start off with three powder, okay? Three poison, whatever you want to call it. But you can get more poison once you run out, and I'll show you right now. But let me explain something real quick first. If you have the level 3 ability on Sissy for the generator and battery, you can place poison if you have the level 3 ability. I currently don't have that ability, but if you have that level 3 ability with Sissy, you can place poison at the generator or battery, which is all the way at the back on this map. So if they kick a gen, if you have the level 3 ability, they will get poisoned. And what you can also do with Sissy's ability, I'll show you right now. I'm going to poison the fuse pieces real quick and show them. What you can also do is here, guys, let's find a fuse piece here. You can also poison objectives here. So the fuse piece, for an example, you can poison, okay? You can poison the fuse piece. You can also poison the valve handle. Let's see if it spawns here. Yeah, the valve handle spawned here. You can poison it as well. So if they pick up that fuse piece for me real quick. Here, Gramps. See, when they picked up that fuse piece, they're poisoned, and now they're running into walls and all that, because once they're poisoned, you know, when you poison a victim, they're not going to be running in a straight line. You know what I mean? They're not going to be running in a straight line. What you can also do, by the way, is poison health bottles. So the only way you can counter Sissy, by the way, is use that immunity perk. There's a perk called the immunity on the victim side where the poison doesn't affect you at all and it has charges. But if you don't have that perk, most people don't use that perk. But for an example here, if you poison a health bottle and the victim tries to, you know, use it, it won't give them health and they'll be poisoned. So that's really good, by the way. And since I have 0 poison, as you guys can see on the right side, now I'm going to go to a powder station. And if you click up on your D-pad, you can see where the powder stations are at. So just keep that in mind. There's some in the back as well. As you guys can see there's some powder stations at the back. And keep in mind, so for this powder station, as you guys can see in the leaf, there's like a leaf over there, if you guys can see it right now. There is only one leaf there. three leaves or three powders, whatever you want to call it. 3 powders can spawn in 1 station, okay? 3 powders max, 1 powder minimum. For this powder station, I only got 1 poison, and that's it. But like I said, three powders can spawn in 1 station. Just keep that in mind. All right, let's go to the back now. And obviously, you know, if you use all the powders for each powder station, you're not going to have any poison left. So just keep that in mind. But now I'm going to show you how the poison works, like her ability when it comes to gaps, crawl spaces, and then barricades. But let me get more poison real quick here. Let's see how much, you know, powder is over here real quick. Because there is a powder station down here, I believe. Yep. So for this powder station, if you guys can see behind that bowl, there's only 2 powder here, which is good. 2 powder, which gives me max, you know, poison, which is good, right? Obviously you want to see 3, not 1, but 2 is also good, right? Because, you know, it fills up, you know, 2 slots. I open this crawl space and then go through it. All right, so if the victim goes through a crawl space and you blow poison, it hits them. And then when it hits them, you can catch up to them, right? Because they're not going to be running in a straight line, and then you can hit them, right? I'm not going to hit you more. I'm sitting once. That's the good thing about Sissy's ability, by the way. If they go through a crawl space, gap, or barricade, you know, you can catch up to them because they're going to be poisoned for a while. Especially, it depends on what your ability tree is, obviously, right? Now go over the barricade, over here. And obviously, if they go over the barricade, you have to go all the way around. But at least when they go over the barricade, you can blow poison and they'll take some damage with that level 3 ability, right? But keep in mind, guys, with Sissy's level 1 ability, they take no damage or barely any damage from her poison. But once you get level 3 with her ability, they take bleed damage. Just keep that in mind. Like Leland right now is taking damage over time. So just keep that in mind. But her poison comes really clutch for chases. So let's do the gap here. Last thing I'm going to show you is when they go through a gap. So when they go through a gap, blow poison, chase them now. They're going to be running into walls and they're going to be not running in a straight line. They're going to be zigzagging. You can hit them multiple times. So just keep that in mind. So to recap with Sissy's ability, you start with 3 poisons. There's 3 powder max at the powder station. So just keep that in mind. 3 powders max, 1 powder minimum. If you click up on the D-pad, you can see where the powder stations are at. And then with her ability, you can blow poison at the victims if they're just standing there, through gaps, through crawl spaces, over barricades. And you can also poison fuse pieces, valve handles, and you can also poison, you know, the battery, the generator, only if you have the level 3 ability though. If you have that level 3 ability, you can poison the gen and the battery. There's also another level 3 ability where you can poison the toolboxes and you can also poison the bone scraps only if you have the level 3 ability. But for me personally, I think the best level 3 ability is the bleed damage. So Leland took a lot of damage there, right? Because I blew powder at him 3 times. But yeah, guys, I mean, her ability, there's a lot to it, but it's really fun to use, especially in chases. But now we're going to be moving on to Nancy. And keep in mind that Nancy is a DLC character. She does not come with the game. So if you guys want to play Nancy, you have to spend money to get her. She is a DLC character, and this is her ability tree. So see through the eyes of one of the victims, revealing an approximate location. So for level 1, we have increased spy duration. Increases the amount of time your spy ability is active by 40%. Does not stack. A quicker recharge rate. Increases the rate your ability bar recharges by 20%. Does not stack. And then we have reduce ability cooldown. Reduces recharge time between ability uses by 3 seconds. And then for level 2, increase spy duration. It goes from 40% to 55%. For quicker recharge rate, it goes from 20% to 40%. And then for reduce ability cooldown, it goes from 3 seconds to 6 seconds. And then for our level 3 abilities, we have spy closest victim. So always spy on the victim closest to you. We also have spy furthest victim. So always spy on the victim furthest from you. And then finally, we have clear vision. while using your spy ability, the vision is much clearer. So for me personally, I like playing Nancy personally. I think she's very underrated, but when it comes to her ability tree, I go right, middle, right. So for level 1, I have reduce ability cooldown. For level 2, I have quicker recharge rate. And then for level 3, I have clear vision. So yeah, let's just jump right into the gameplay with Nancy. Keep in mind, like I said before, she is a DLC character. But let's jump right into it, and I'll show you guys how her ability works. All right, so with Nancy, we're going to be talking about her traps and then her actual ability. So as you guys can see, bottom right, she has 3 traps you can place down. There's a perk you can get on her called Pins and Needles, where you have a 25% chance, I think it is, where you can get another trap. Like the highest I got was 11 traps with her one game. But the thing is, I'm going to talk about those perks that can help her traps in another video when I talk about the skill trees. But when it comes to Nancy at default, you start with 3 traps, okay? 3 traps. You can place them at the gaps, which I just did. If you break a door as well, if you break a door, you can place it at the doorway, okay? You can also place it, like I said, you can place it at the doorways. You can also place it at the crawl spaces. Where are you right now? Open up the crawl space here in the sitting room. We'll place at the crawl space to show you guys, and we'll also place one at the doorway. All right, see? Watch. Open that. You can put barbed wire here as well, okay? And the thing is, you can also move your traps if you want. So for an example, if you don't like it here, no one's going through it, all you have to do is just hold A or X, whatever platform you're on, and then remove it. And as you guys can see, it's back in your inventory. And you can just move it wherever you like. So I'm going to move it here to another crawl or to another gap, and then we'll put it at the doorway as well. They did buff Nancy and her traps, by the way. Before, it took a very long time to set up her traps, but now it's pretty fast. You know, it was definitely a good buff for Nancy. And keep in mind, guys, you can actually walk through your own traps as well, and the family members can walk through your own traps. Before the Nancy buff, you couldn't walk through your own trap. So if this was before that buff, I couldn't walk through this trap. But guess what, guys? Now you can walk through the traps with Nancy, and any of the family members can walk through your traps as well without destroying it. And now I'm going to show you with her ability. We're not going to go through the traps yet. Actually, we'll go through the traps. Go through it, and then come back through after. Look what happens. The middle one. Look what happened. No, I took it out. The middle one right here, and then come back through. Look what happens when they go through the trap, okay? When they step through a trap, they fall to the ground, okay? They fall to the ground. And if they try to go through the gap again, look, they fall to the ground again, okay? So if you're chasing someone with barbed wire and they go through a gap, they'll fall to the ground. And look how long it takes for them to remove a trap, by the way. Look how long. Look. Look how long it took for that. You don't have a bone scrap, right? Okay, get a bone scrap. You see how long it took for them to get out of the trap? Now I'm going to reset my trap, okay? You can reset your traps, and now we're going to see how long it takes for them to get out of the trap with a bone scrap, okay? All right, go through it and use the bone scrap instantly. Yep. Yep. All right, let's see how long it takes. You can come back. Yeah. Really good, because if you're chasing someone and they go through gaps consistently, they're going to keep falling to the ground. You can get a lot of hits off, you know what I mean? There you go, done. You see how fast that took? This also helps the victims as well, just saying. Like, if you go through a Nancy trap and you don't have a bone scrap, it's going to take a while to get the trap off. But if you have a bone scrap, as you guys just saw, quick. All right, now we're going to use her ability here. So you could just stand in the back if you want. All right, so with Nancy's ability, okay? With Nancy's ability, when you click RB, right bumper, whatever platform you play on, okay? The ability button. You can see where the victim is at. And keep in mind, this is a level 3 ability. That was a level 3 ability. So with the level 3 ability, you can see the victim much clearer. But when you start playing as Nancy, it's going to be very blurry. So keep that in mind, guys. When you use Nancy, level 1, it's going to be very blurry. But as you guys can see there, you see where the victim is at. And as you guys can see, you see how long it's taking for the ability to recharge. if you want to get your ability back really quick, a lot of players don't know about this. Even the most experienced players don't know about this. If you want to get your ability back faster with Nancy, all you have to do is go to a powder station. And guess what, guys? Look what happens. Go to the powder station and look how fast it's going now. Look how much faster you're getting your ability, guys. And I'm going to show you guys her ability one more time, and then I'm going to recap. But like I said, a lot of players don't know about that. I still get comments on my streams about the powder station with Nancy. So yeah, I mean, look how fast I got it now, the ability. Look how fast it's going. And then I'm going to use my ability once again. What the hell? Well, bugged out there. But as you guys saw there, it did bug out my ability. But let's see now. Well, the ability's bugging out. Yeah, it went like twice. It's bugging out. It could be custom, so it could be a custom. We're in customs right now, so the game could be bugged. There's a lot of problems with customs right now, but you guys get the point of her ability, right? You guys get the point. So now it's working. Her ability is working properly now, but as you guys can see, you can see where the victim is at. You can't pick which victim you want to see. It's at random, right? But with her ability, level 3, you can either pick the victim that's furthest from you, closest to you. But for my ability, as you guys saw, it's very clear. So you can see where the victim is at. But like I said before, so I'm going to recap now. When it comes to her traps, you have 3 traps to start off with, okay? 3 traps. If they go through the trap and then go through a crawl space or a gap, they're going to fall to the ground, okay? And if they go through your trap without a bone scrap, it's going to take them a while to get the trap off. But if they have a bone scrap, they can take off the trap really quick, as you guys saw. Now, when it comes to her, or also with her traps, you can place her traps at a doorway, you can place her traps at the gap, and you can also place her traps at the crawl space, as I showed you. And then with her traps, you can also remove it and place it somewhere else if you want. And then you can also, you can also reset her trap if you want. And then lastly, when it comes to her ability spots a victim and you can see where they're at on the map, which comes clutch. And if you want to get your ability back really fast with Nancy, all you have to do is go to a powder station and then use it, okay? And as you guys can see here, if you click up on the D-pad, you can see where the powder stations are at. So just keep that in mind. It's not infinite, by the way. The powder stations are not infinite. I only got 1 use from this table, but you can get 3 uses from a table max. 1 use minimum, 3 uses max. So just keep that in mind. But now I'm going to be moving on to hands. Moving on to Hands, keep in mind that Hands is also a DLC character. He does not come with the game. So if you want to play Hands, you have to spend money. So just keep that in mind. He is a DLC character, and this is his ability tree. So lockdown exit interactions by ripping fuses out of the fuse box, valve handles from the tank, and restarting the generator and car battery quickly. So for his level 1 abilities, we have reduce electric trap setup time. So time it takes to set electric trap reduced by 10%. We also have reduced defensive barge stamina cost. So defensive barge stamina cost reduced by 10%. And then we have reduce ripstall cooldown. So ripstall cooldown reduction by 20%. All right, so for level 2, when it comes to the reduce electric trap setup time, it goes from 10% to 20%. When it comes to the reduced defensive barge stamina cost, it goes from 10% to 20%. And then for the reduced ripstall cooldown, it goes from 20% to 30%. And then for the level 3 abilities, we have increased damage when ripstalling. So ripstalling increases melee damage by 10% for 30 seconds. And then the next level 3 ability is increased defensive barge damage. So defensive barge does 30% more damage. And then finally, we have ripstall instant trap. So after performing a ripstall, the object will gain an instant electric trap. This has 1 charge. So for me personally, I mean, his ability tree is amazing in my opinion. Like, you can go with any of these, level 3 abilities if you want. But for me personally, I like going all the way to the left. So level 1 left, level 2 left, and then level 3 left. So for level 1, I have reduced electric trap setup time. For level 2, I have reduced ripstall cooldown. Keep in mind, his reduced ripstall cooldown is pretty cracked at level 2, just saying. And then for level 3, I go with increased damage when ripstalling. So yeah, let's just jump right into the gameplay with Hands. I'll show you guys how his ability works. I'll show you how his ripstall works and how his barge works. And keep in mind, like I said before, keep in mind, Hands is a DLC character. But other than that, let's jump right into the gameplay. All right, so moving on to Hands. I mean, Hands is a very, very good character, guys. Like, a lot of people hate this guy when they play Victim. So, with Hands' traps, as you guys can see, bottom right, he has 3 traps. You can place a trap on a toolbox if you like. I wouldn't recommend placing it on a toolbox. I mean, I've never done it, but like, I don't think it's worth it personally. Or you can place it on a toolbox if you like. You can also place it on a crawl space. And keep in mind, Hands can also close a crawl space, okay? And after he closes it, you can place an electric trap here as well. And then what you can also do is you can place an electric trap on a barricade, okay? He can also break a barricade, but you need a perk for him. You need a perk called Barrier Breaker to break a trap with Hands, and I'll talk about that in another video. But so far, he can place his electric traps on a barricade, crawl space, or toolbox, okay? And then now we're going to go to the back and show you with the objectives here real quick. Where are you at right now? Okay, I'll open up the front door for you. All right, let's go to the side real quick and show them the gen. I'm going to place my trap at the gen, and then I'll place it at the back gate. I'm going to place it at the back gate first. And then lastly, so you can place your trap at the toolbox, crawl space, barricade, and finally, you can also place, or you can place your trap at the gate, and you can also place your traps at the objectives. So you can place your traps at the fuse box, pressure tank, battery, or generator as well. So his traps come clutch. And run into the trap real quick. If the victims don't have a bone scrap or bomb squad, look what happens. If they try to touch the gate, what do you need a tool? I get a tool first. Yep. So let's say the Sunny's gonna demonstrate right now. Once the Sunny touches that gate, and if he doesn't have a bone scrap, watch what happens. He's gonna get electrocuted, and I'll show you what happens. So if you place a trap at a gate, victim goes to it without a bomb squad or a bone scrap, and they touch it, they fall to the ground and get electrocuted, okay? And once they get electrocuted, you can either remove your trap if you want to place it somewhere else, or you have to wait for a cooldown and then you can reset it. As of right now, if you just click X, or if you click X or A, depending on what console you're on, you can reset your trap, okay? Also, when it comes to, just standard by the way, also when it comes to his other ability, he has a barge. As you guys can see beside his stamina bar, it says click B, okay? It says click B, which is his barge. Look what happens. You can barge a victim to the ground with Hands, okay? So he has like 3 abilities in one. He has his traps, he has his barge, plus he has the ripstall, which I'm going to show you guys right now, okay? So now we're going to place a trap. We'll place a trap here and show you guys electrocution again. Place a trap at the generator. You can also, like I said before, you can place a trap at an objective, such as the generator. Now kick the gen if you want. Get electrocuted again. Sunny's going to try to kick the gen. Gets electrocuted because he doesn't have a bone scrap. We could show if you want to get a bone scrap now. You can get a bone scrap and show them. Should be one in there, yep. I'm going to show you guys now how you can disarm his trap with a bone scrap. Keep in mind, guys, the bomb squad perk also counters his traps. You can use bomb squad to disarm his traps. So Sunny has a bone scrap right now. He's disarming it. You turn it off as well after. Now, lastly, before the recap, I'm going to show you his last ability. Guess what, guys? Victims think they're going to escape here. Guess what? Usually when they kick a gen, there's a cooldown. Usually when the victims kick a gen or do any objective, there's a cooldown, okay? But guess what? Just run straight. What? Run straight. Guess what? Sunny thinks he's free because he kicked the gen and knows there's a cooldown. But guess what? With his ripstall ability, watch this. Boom. Instantly turns it back on. No cooldown whatsoever. His ability has a cooldown, but his ability cooldown is really quick. Especially with that level 2 reduce ability cooldown. Really quick. But yeah, that's all for his abilities. I mean, his abilities are pretty clutch. I mean, there's a reason why a lot of people hate going up against this guy. So to recap, I still have 1 trap left over. It's all good. We'll place it at this crawl space here. But to recap, his first ability, his traps, he can place it at gates, objectives, toolboxes, crawl spaces, and barricades, okay? And then when it comes to his barge, you can barge victims. You can barge victims if they're just standing there. You can barge victims when they come through a gap. You can also barge victims when they drop down the well. And guess what, guys? With his ripstyle ability, you can turn on an objective instantly. So for an example, as you guys saw with the Sunny turned off the generator and I turned it back on instantly. That's how good his ability is. But now I'm going to be moving on to Bones, the last family member. Lastly, I'll be talking about Bones, and Bones is also a DLC character. So when it comes to Nancy, Hands, and Bones, you have to pay money for them if you want to play those 3 characters. They are not a part of the game, like they're not included in the game once you get it, but if you want to play them, you have to spend money because, like I said, they were a part of a DLC. So this is Bones' ability tree. So plant a homemade gore bomb to severely injure unsuspecting victims and blow up nearby doors and obstacles. Victims hit by a gore bomb are revealed to Bones for 15 seconds. So when it comes to his level 1 abilities, global reveal. Victims hit by a gore bomb are revealed to the entire family, not just to Bones. Next, we have free gore bomb. Gore bombs can be made from empty or full blood buckets without using blood. And finally, gore bomb damage increase. So gore bomb damage is increased by 20%. And then for the level 2 abilities, we have Improved Gore Bomb. Use a toolbox to turn an unmodified Gore Bomb into a fragmentation bomb, boosting damage by 50%. Next, we have Stamina Drain. Victims hit by a Gore Bomb lose all of their stamina for a brief period of time. And then finally, we have Longer Reveal. Victims hit by a Gore Bomb stay revealed for an extra 30 seconds. And then moving on to the level 3 abilities, we have Free Blood Vial. So retrieving a spark plug from a detonated Gore Bomb also fills the blood vial. The next level 3 ability is Thrilled. So when a victim is hit by a Gore Bomb, Bones becomes thrilled for 45 seconds. His stamina consumption is reduced by 50% and his damage dealt is increased by either 25% or 50% against victims hit by the Gore Bomb. And then finally, additional Gore Bomb. Start with 1 additional Gore Bomb. I mean, his ability, I'm not gonna lie, the detonation should be faster when it comes to his bombs, but for me personally, I go with middle, left when it comes to his ability tree. So for level 1, I go with Free Gore Bomb. For level 2, I go with Stamina Drain. And then for level 3, I go with Free Blood Vial. So let's jump right into the gameplay with Bones, and I'll show you guys how his ability works. And keep in mind, like I said before, I gotta keep reminding just to let you guys know, he is a DLC character, so if you want to play as him, you have to pay money for him. Just keep that in mind. But other than that, let's jump right into the gameplay. Lastly, I'm going to show you what Bones' ability does. So as you guys can see, bottom right, Bones has 2 bombs, okay? And with his bombs, you can destroy barricades with it, okay? Or I'm going to actually show you different ways with his bombs, if that makes sense. I'm going to show you how you can destroy barricades, crawl spaces, and doors, okay? And I'm also going to show you how to craft a bomb. But the one thing you don't want to do, guys, here's a very important lesson. There's a reason why I'm on Slaughterhouse right now, okay? There's a reason why I'm on Slaughterhouse. Never place a bomb near a red door. I'm going to show you why. If you place a bomb near like a white door or a sliding door, it's not going to destroy it, the bomb. But if you place a bomb near a red door, it's going to destroy it, and I'll show you right now. All right, I'm gonna open up the tool storage for you. Oh yeah, okay. Let's go. I'm gonna pretend to chase you. Go through that crawl space. Watch what happens when Y goes to the crawl space. Watch. The family members can get hit by the bomb. Keep that in mind, guys. They can get hit by the bomb, and as you guys can see, the crawl space is broken, and once the bomb detonates, the detonation time for his bombs are not that good. It's pretty long, but once they detonate the bomb, you pick up a spark plug. The spark plug helps you create a new bomb, helps you craft a new bomb. All right, you can go to the red door now and stand there while doing the lock. This is why you never place a bomb at the red door. It's an advantage for the victims. Watch. Although Wyatt gets hit by it, Wyatt falls to the ground after getting hit by the bomb. Although it does damage to the victims, you know, and it highlights them and they fall to the ground. Look what happened. Opens up the map for the victims. That's why you never place a bomb at a red door. And now, pick up the spark plug, and guess what? With that level 1 ability I have, now I can craft a bomb at a full blood bucket without using blood. If you don't have that level 1 ability and you craft a bomb, it will drain the blood bucket. That's why I would highly recommend going down the middle for his level 1 ability. Because guess what? You can craft 2 bombs with the same blood bucket, which is really good. Now I'm going to show you something else. I'm going to show you the barricade. If you don't have a Leatherface, you can also destroy barricades with bones, okay? We're going to destroy the barricade, by the way, if you want to go over it after. Give me a sec. All right, you can go over it now. I'm chasing Wyatt. Let's say I'm chasing Wyatt. He goes over the barricade. Watch what happens. Barricade gets destroyed. You don't need a Leatherface. I mean, Leatherface definitely helps when it comes to barricades, but if you don't have a Leatherface, you can destroy barricades with bones. You know what I mean? So that's very clutch as well. And you just you retrieve the spark plug and then craft another bomb. I know I have a full blood vial, but that level 3 ability on bones is really good, by the way. If you have level 3 bones, I would recommend getting the full blood vial, because if someone detonates your bomb and you pick up the bomb with a level 3 ability, you get a full blood vial instantly, which is very clutch on bones because you can get Grandpa to level 5 really quick. But that's pretty much it for his bombs. I mean, to recap, with Bones' bombs, you can destroy crawl spaces. Keep in mind that family members can get hit by the bombs, so you can destroy crawl spaces, you can destroy red doors, and you can destroy barricades. Just keep that in mind, guys. And the only way you can craft bombs is for the victims to go through the bombs and detonate it. Okay, that's the only way you can craft bombs. Is when the victims run through it, it detonates. You get the spark plug, and then you go to and then I'll show you guys one more time here. If you go to a blood bucket, you get that spark plug again and go to a blood bucket, you can craft a new bomb. So that's pretty much it for Bones. The main lesson here, guys, I will repeat myself. Main lesson, never place a bomb near the red door because it's not worth it. But you can also place, you can also place a bomb at the gap, so when they go through it, they blow up. You can also place a gap, or you can also place a bomb at the valve tank if you want an objective. I usually place a bomb near Grandpa, because if they try to stab Grandpa, they'll get blown up by the bomb, and that's free blood once you get level 3. But yeah, if you want to place a bomb at this valve handle right here, or at this pressure tank, just place it right here. They'll probably get hit by it if they don't see it. But keep in mind, I'm gonna show you one more thing. Actually, I forgot to mention this. But I'm gonna show them when you crouch by it. Just stay over there. I forgot to mention this. Just move it over there. Move back a little bit because I'm gonna place it here. All right, crouch through it now. Crouch through it. I think if they crouch through it, they can't. Yeah, see, if they crouch through it though, here's the thing, guys. Okay, I forgot to mention this. Thank God I just remembered. If they crouch through your bomb, it won't detonate. If they run through your bomb, it'll detonate. Problem is though, most of the time when the victims run through your bomb, it's not going to hit them. It's going to hit the family member most likely that's chasing them. Now walk through. Let's see if it walks. If you walk through it. Yeah, because you jogged there a little bit. You jogged there after a little bit. Yeah, we'll try one more time. Yeah, so far, yeah, when you crouch, it won't detonate. If you run past it or jog a little bit, it'll detonate. Now we're gonna test out the walking. Test out the walking. If you jog, it's all good. Yeah, so if you walk by, it doesn't detonate either. All right. I didn't know that either until now. So we learned something new today. So his bombs can destroy many things. You can place his bombs anywhere you want. You can place your bombs near Grandpa if you want, near objectives. Never place it at a red door. And the only way the victims can detonate your bomb is if they run through it or jog through it. If they walk through it or crouch through it, it's not going to detonate. And keep in mind, the bombs take a while to detonate, and it can hit the family members as well. So just keep that in mind. So before this video ends, I just want to show you guys one more ability that a lot of family players forget to use, and that's called the Family Focus Ability. So as you guys can see in the bottom right, if you click up on the D-pad, it will show you the spawns for, the blood buckets, Grandpa, your own traps, the fuse pieces, valve handles, and if you're close enough to an objective, so I'm close enough to the fuse box, you're able to see the objectives as well with the family focus. Also keep in mind that the family focus comes very clutch when it comes to finding victims, because if you click up on the D-pad with your family focus ability and the victim is talking near you, you'll be able to hear that and you'll be able to know where they're at because of that voice line. So just keep that in mind, guys. A lot of people always forget to use the family focus ability, and guys, I'm telling you right now, the family focus ability comes so clutch because you'll be able to see the spawns, you know, for the objectives. You'll be able to see your own traps, and you'll be able to hear the victims as well if they talk. You know what I mean? So it definitely comes clutch. Never forget, guys. Never forget to click up on the D-pad when you play family. So that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys got a better understanding of the family abilities, but feel free to leave a comment down below and let me know if I missed anything when it comes to the family abilities. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and take care, guys. Have a good day and see you in the next one.